Hello, our beloved viewers. It's 9 p.m. You are watching now Djibouti Television, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this English news edition. Coming up, the headlines. Modernizing the pottery, a delegation visit this year. A meeting with the operators of the hotel sector. And on the international scenes, floods in Europe renders death and significant material damage. Those were the headlines. Thanks for joining us in our newsroom. The Minister of Justice responsible for human rights hosted a panel discussion at the Sydney Hill Center in our town combating smuggling of migrants and trafficking in person. The Minister for Women and the Family, the Colonel of the Coast Guard, the President of the CNDH, as well as officials from the police and the National Gendarmeries participate in this roundtable. The objective of this roundtable is to create a working group which will have to task the coordinating effort to combat trafficking and smuggling of migrants. This working group will be responsible for presenting a national strategy and combating these forms of crime. It should be noted also that the human trafficking is also violence against women and children because they are the main victims of this crime at a time when the issues of migration occupies a lot of minds, and we must remember that it is important to fight against illegal migration. Trafficking in person is an illicit trade and which benefits criminals and which can be found in a migratory flow, but also within the borders of a country, the appropriate response. And this is the reason why of this technical meeting today, and can only be determined by the cooperation between the different institutions of the state, the magistrates, the forces of order, the civil society actors. Trafficking in person must above all be considered as a human rights problem, which is why the Minister of Justice insists on involving the CNDH in this meeting. Yesterday morning, a large ministerial delegation, including the Minister of Higher Education and Researches, Dr. Nabil Mohammed Ahmed, the Minister of Economic and Finance in charge of Industry, Mr. Ilyas Moussa Dawali, the Ambassador of the United States of America, Mr. Jonathan Pratt, and the resident representative of the UNDP, Ms. Fatima Al-Sheikh, went to the Material Laboratory of the Center for Studies and Researches of Djibouti. Before making this visit to the laboratory, and fruitful discussion focused on the opportunity for transforming minerals resources in Djibouti and on ways and means to create jobs in new sectors of the future, such as pottery. During this visit, the development of the pottery value chain in Djibouti was discussed as a part of the project entitled Rising Djibouti in Partnership with USAID and UNDP. During this visit, it was a question on the supporting the capacity building and transfer of knowledge of the CIRD through its expert pottery to continue training with the first current of pottery trainees who follow as a basic training in pottery as part of of the CIRD Master Poetry is learning. At the end of this visit, the delegation congratulated itself on the excellent results obtained under the poetry command of the Rising Djibouti Protection, agreed to pursue the next step in order to create jobs opportunities for young people Djiboutian in this new pottery. And now let's listen the intervention of the United States representative Miss Fatima Al-Sheikh. Let's listen to her.
Happy today to see the progress that the trainers has made in Djibouti. We are training 5 ladies with an expert coming all the way from Jamaica as part of Rising Djibouti program with the Ministry of Finance, our new flagship for socio-economic recovery from COVID. As you see, they have done a magnificent job, and I think we are very grateful to the Ministry of Higher Education and the SED for hosting us and the scientific knowledge to develop new business opportunities in Djibouti. But we are also very grateful for our major donor for Rising Djibouti, the government of the US and the USAID for their contribution to bring in a new skills and new approach to small and medium manufacturing in Djibouti. Stay tuned. We will invite you, inshallah, for the exhibition that we will host soon. Once the production is massive, you will be able to see a lot of nice pottery that is developed by Djiboutian beautiful hands.
Yesterday morning, the Ministers of Health, Dr. Ahmed Roble Abdillah, signed a partnership agreement with the Vice President of the UNFD, Ms. Hasna Ahmed Bilal, in order to coordinate together preventive activities in the fight against malnutrition in Djibouti. Note that the signing ceremony took place in the presence of the UNICEF representative, Ms. Melva Johnson, the senior advisor to the Minister of Mr. Abdul Qadir Mohammed, the Director of Mother and Child Health, Ms. Fatuma Ali Abdullah, and the Director of Health Promotion, Mr. Abdillahi Ayed Samoud. This present agreement is part of the multi-sectoral strategy to the elimination of malnutrition led by the Health Department with the support of numerous technical and financial partners that Thus, these two institutions have agreed to identify, coordinate their awareness-raising action and the promotion of a good nutritional practices, activities, screening, and the cases, in particular, a cooking demonstration session. On this occasion, the Minister of Health, Dr. Ahmed Roble Abdillah, did not fail to salute the leadership on the First Lady and the President of the UNFD, Ms. Khadra Mohammed Haid, for her unwavering commitment to promoting maternal health and the child nutrition. In her intervention, the Vice President of the UNFD did not fail to thank the Minister of Health for his partnership dedicated to the fight against malnutrition in the Republic of Djibouti. She added that these preventive activities also extended to the active searches for those lost to follow up in the neighborhood, so to support a local nutritional center. For his part, the Minister of Health declared that this partnership will make it possible to take advantage of the UNFD as the UNFD's association network and to strengthen a fruitful partnership to jointly carry out nutritional promotion activities in the communities. In the view of the preparation of the 7th edition of the International African Textile Fair to be held in Djibouti from October 28 to 30, the Minister of Trade and Tourism, Mr. Mohamed Warsama Dirie, met yesterday early in the morning at the People's Palace, the operators of the hotel sector in Djibouti, who is also a key partners in the realization and success of major events in our country. These large-scale events brings together political decision makers, companies, designer, industrials, and experts in African textile and trade from Africa and elsewhere, and involving in the productions, processing, and evaluation of African content. This meeting was an opportunity for the Minister of Trade and Tourism to give the initiative to be taken to host this event, which will make Djibouti the African crossroad for African textile. It should be also noted that this fair was created in 2009 and which aims to promote the development of the African textile through the creation of a hopeful sector for African production through the promotion of the wearing of a traditional African fabric and the production of African textile industries present on the continent. This Thursday, July 15th, the international schools for further training in judicial police practice hosted a ceremony marking the closing of international further training investigators course. Assured by the representing of the Attorney General, Mr. Mukhtar Mohamed Abdillahi. The event saw the participation of the President of the Regional Council of Arta, the Colonel Chief of Staff of the Army, the Gendarmerie, the representative of the Director General of the National Police, the representative of the Commander of the Coast Guard, the representative of the Internal Security of the French Embassy in Djibouti, and several senior and subordinate officials of the National Gendarmerie. At the end of the 6 weeks of rich training on modern survey techniques, the 7 promotion made up of 18 trainees, including 12 from 10 friendly countries, have closed the training this morning and received their scrolls and badge from the officials. The ceremony began with the reading of the few verses of Quran, the Holy Quran, followed by reading of a motion of thanks from the president of the promotion. Then the trainees receive their diploma and badges by the authorities present. At the end of the at the end of this ceremony, the official posed with the trainees for the traditional family photo before moving on to the lunch offered by the Chief of Staff of the National Gendarmerie at the conference center and the presentation of a prism to all the training. On this occasion, the president of the promotion spoke to express his satisfaction with the content of the update and program, as well as the pedagogy employed by the instructors and the availability of a support person, before thanking all the staff of the school. Colonel Ibrahim Elmi, Chief of Staff of the National Gendarmerie, and authorities who came to enhance the brilliance of the event despite their responsibilities. Moving on to the international scenes, the bad weather in Europe killed 100 people provisional assignment because there are still many missing. Germany is the hardest hit. The tools of bad weather affecting Europe continues to climb. and it is especially Germany that is in mourning. At least 81 death record this Friday morning, but there are still many missing. People have not heard from. Perhaps it was because the telephone connection are cut. This is what some people want to believe, but the authorities warn that the number of victims is likely to increase. From Washington, where she was on Thursday, the Chancellor Angela Merkel expressed for her dismay. She said, "My thoughts are with those who lost their lives and their loved ones, and to celebrate the work of the firefighter hired to provide assistance to the victims. Nearly 1,000 soldiers were also mobilized to lend a hand to the firefighters. This bad weather and the flood or Decos have also claimed victims in Belgium. At least 11 deaths were recorded. This is it for this edition. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful evening.